Obviously a big week ahead, but let's start and look back at last week's game. A difficult afternoon for you. How much character did you feel that your players showed in that game?
Yeah, not happy with probably the back 55 minutes. They fought really hard. Just struggled again, like we did against Saints, to score points. So just when that first try came about, just sensed a little bit of a drop off of intensity. You know, we were well in the game in the first 25. I thought we probably had the better exchanges, to be honest with you, as far as try scoring chances were concerned. They got down there and they didn't have to work too hard for their first try. And I just felt there was a little bit of, just that little bit of here we go again. You know, we trying hard, given everything they got, we just couldn't get across the line as hard as they tried. And then, you know, it was one of them days too that there was a couple of intercepts, which, you know, were in our control, but, you know, they took some intercepts. There was some tries off kicks that we haven't sort of been giving into. And it was a tough afternoon at the office. But, yeah, still sort of happy with their efforts. But, you know, we don't want to see the scoreboard get away from us like that too often.
I know we've spoken previously about when you get injuries in a game, how you've got contingencies almost worked out in advance. But in the situation that you ended up in on Sunday, already thin on the ground, a few more going off, what was it like in the coach's position?
Yeah, it was. We did have contingencies, like what you have to, you know. So we knew what we were doing when certain things happened. But I think when Harvey got headbinned, you know, we'd already used up all those contingencies. So that became a bit of an issue where we just had to sort of act on the run and hopefully no one else got injured. And that was the case. We got through okay. But, yeah, it was one stage there when Harvey went off. I don't think we had anyone on the bench to go on.
So how are things looking injury-wise? The obvious one to start with, Herman Essayesse, how is he?
No, he's had a full rupture of his Achilles, so he's hopefully be in tomorrow with any luck, but as soon as we possibly can, and get him on the road to recovery.
How big a knock-on effect has that got then with your forwards?
Yeah, it just takes another. Yeah, the last 3 weeks have just been a nightmare as far as injuries are concerned, and they're not. You know, Achilles are nothing that you can sort of point to anything. You know, training wise, Jed did a pec. Will Price broke a foot. John, the hamstring issue is one that we're going to be really looking into. Soft tissue, yes, we've got to look at, but those other ones that we've had, Liam Knight, broken foot, they're just things that happen in our game. It's a brutal game. You like to spread them out over the course of the year if you can, but just unfortunately the last 3 weeks have just, like I said, have been a nightmare.
And Herman Essayesse has been in some great form for you. Mentally, how's he doing with an injury like that? Yeah,
it's coming to terms with it. It's tough early, you know. He's prided himself on the minutes that he's played and the impact that he's had on games, and he's been tremendous for us. Sides are really aiming up on him because he is so dangerous, but. I think it's made him a better player. You know, he's played tough. So it is a blow. It's a tough thing to something you watch on TV and you just don't see how much of an impact injuries have on players unless you're with them every day. It's it's their livelihood. It's what they know. It's what they love to do, and it is their job as well. And it's can be. Really tough on the players that go through it. You play long enough, you are going to go through it. So you've got to rely on that, and you've got to rely on your teammates and the club to help get you through it.
How about, I've got a list of players written down, but I'll let you go through. Yeah. How about other players that you might have lost at the weekend?
You might have to go through the list for me.
Let's start with Ed Chamberlain.
No, he's done a hamstring. It's a grade 3, so he'll be up for season. Yeah.
Liam Watts.
He hasn't trained this week. We'll give him till Saturday. We're hoping he'll be okay. Yeah.
Cade Cust.
Cade will be fine. It's just wear and tear on the back of a long season. But yeah, he should be fine.
Have you got anyone coming back that could be available?
No, I don't believe so at this stage. No.
So what options have you got? Are you looking to draft players in maybe with little experience, or how are you looking at it?
There'll be probably some opportunities for guys that haven't played a lot this year. So Matty Laidlaw's handled himself really well in the games that he's played. He's a reliable fella to bring onto the field at any stage. Will Gardner might get an opportunity. He's been time whilst we've been healthy. It's been tough for him, and he's gone back to Doncaster and he's worked really hard. But we really can't. We're going to give every player every opportunity to up until game time to get them right. Then we'll come up to the side on Saturday.
So the game itself, plenty at stake for both sides. How realistic now is it for Hull FC to still reach the playoffs? Yeah,
well, we believe so. If ever you want to play a game that you don't need any motivation for, it's one of these derbies. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to Craven Park. In my playing career, I never got to play over there, and I haven't been there at the ground ever. So it's an atmosphere I'm looking forward to. And it's a game that both clubs and both sets of fans, circle on their calendar when it's coming up. So we're going there to win the game, that's for sure.
It seems that as a coach in your first season and experiencing it, the derbies have been something that you've quite enjoyed being involved in.
Yeah, they have you can sense there's an extra, I suppose, importance to the game. It's been going on. It's a rivalry that's been going on for a long, long time. And we've played them twice this year, and both at home, and both fantastic games and fantastic atmospheres. And I can't see any why this one won't be any different.
Often at this time of year, when there's not huge amounts to play for, I know there still is with that top six place, it can be difficult to keep your players motivated. But I guess this weekend that just won't apply.
No, well, it's as we said, it's a derby game, and it's also a game that if we win, it still keeps us 1 point out at the very worst, and anything can happen. If we win, it might put us back into the six. So that's the opportunity that we're not going to gloss over. It's still game on as far as finals are concerned. There's 3 games to go, and we just got to keep backing ourselves.
Rovers have a couple of injury problems themselves. Is this something you feel you could maybe exploit?
It's really, the focus has been about us. I know. I would say their halves, hooker, fullback will be as is, and that's the nucleus of your team. That's where they supply the organisation and the kicking game, and so that's we know what to expect from KR, and they've got a lot of depth. So we're not expecting anything easy from them.
What's the key then to trying to turn them over?
You just got to match them where they're very good at their kick chase, their line speed. If they dominate in those areas of the field, very, very hard to beat. So we have to try and match them in those areas. Be good with our discipline. Be good where we finish our sets. And rely on that derby atmosphere. It's a game that you just want to play in. I know for myself as a player, and these are the games that you just want to be involved in. There's some games where you play that don't quite provide atmosphere, or there's not a lot on the line. It's a game where there's a hell of a lot on the line. So it's anyone sort of lucky enough to be selected, it's an opportunity to go out and impress.
Do you use the fact it's a derby at all in the build-up to the game? I'm thinking in terms of maybe the likes of Andy Last getting involved and saying what it's meant to him over the years.
Well, we did that like in the first couple of times we played. Without, it's always you don't want to sort of get your players ready too early to play these games. The occasion brings out the best in them. So we've sort of been through that. The importance of this game is the finals. So that's our focus on this particular time that we're playing them. The rest of it they'll pick up in the build-up to the game. You can already sense that it's a derby game just by sort of talking to some fans and supporters.
So on the flip side then, is it perhaps managing that extra bit of fire that one or two might have in the bellies?
Yeah, you've got to keep your discipline. Things will happen because of the importance of the game and the derby, which we keep going back to. But you can't be giving away silly penalties, and you can't afford to have 12 men on the field, as we sort of found out when we played them earlier.
And news to come this week about Jordan Rapana retiring at the end of the season. Just put into words what he's been for Hull FC this year.
Yeah, he's given us everything that we signed him for. He's been a great guidance off the field for these younger guys that are playing. A hugely popular member of the group, and as selfless a player as you'll ever come across. He was here for 2 years originally. I've been sort of chatting to him for a fair while now. He's had concerns about his body and not getting in the place of someone else, and that's solely what it's all about. He's, as I said, he's as far as players go, totally selfless. Has given everything physically he possibly can, and he's going to be missed. I've really enjoyed having him, coaching him again. He was only a kid. He's certainly changed a lot since I first come across him, but has been a great asset to the club, and it's another reason that we want to send him out with and going as far as we can into this competition.
He's done a job for you this year as well, hasn't he? But in terms of versatility, where you've put him, he's tried to do his best. Yeah,
it's unfortunate that his best position has always been on the wing, and we're just, we didn't want to block up a pathway for Lewis and Harvey. Tommy Briscoe's another one who's had to play in different positions, but those boys have just got better and better. And if they hadn't have played the amount of first grade that they have, they mightn't be at that stage of their development. So again, selfless. Both Tommy and Jordan have accepted their roles within the team, and whenever I've got to shift them around, it's whatever's best for the team. It's a great attitude to have, and it's a great sort of lesson for the younger boys to learn from.
Hi, John. Just sticking with Jordan, please. I mean, culturally, how big has he been for the squad this season? Because obviously it was a big task for the new boys and yourself coming in to galvanise everyone. So what's Jordan's role been like there?
Yeah, he's just, like last year didn't bother him. What happened with the club last year, he came in fresh. And he's just a winner. He's been a winner all his whole career. He competes hard. He never thinks that, never worries about the opposition or who's in front of him. He backs his own game, leads the way on and off the field. He's been a tremendous asset for me personally, just to have a leader of his type. Always good to have around. Never lets the attitude within the group drop, no matter what we're facing, and that's it's been really evident over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's played with injury. And he's like I said, he's so popular amongst the group. He's been a fantastic signing for the club, and we wish him all the best, and we want to send him out, as I said, as deep in this competition as we can.
Not to sound insensitive, but obviously that does give you some salary cap, and it gives you a quota spot as well. So there's some manoeuvring you can potentially do in the future.
Yeah, like I said, all those things will happen, but it's about Jordan at the moment.
Does it open the door for Liggy at all?
Well, like I said, we'll get. It's out in the open now. Like he's been thinking about it for a long time. Out of respect, we haven't done anything. Waiting for Jordan's decision, but it's there now. But so outside that, we haven't thought any deeper.
Okay. In terms of squad, you said then no one's coming back. So Sam Essay, is he still struggling with his hamstring?
We'll give him till Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. And Will Kirby, he picked up an unspecified injury a couple of weeks back. Is he okay? Or?
Yeah, he's back training. He'll be available, yeah.
Gives you an option, I guess, which you
can't.
Yeah,
he just hasn't played for a long time, mate.
In terms of the derby, going over there, as I say, it's the first time to Craven Park, so it's something new for you, but it's going to be hostile, it's going to be, intimidating, they'll make it a cauldron. Does that inspire, ask this to Aidan, but I'll ask it to you as well, does that inspire you? Because, everything's going to be against you, but I suppose that siege mentality.
Like I said earlier, these are the games that you want to play in. You get enough games where at the end of the season that you're not in contention or you don't, it's not a derby game and there's no interest within the crowd. This is a game that's sold out many weeks ago, and there's a lot riding on the game, not just the derby. As I said earlier, that we're looking at this as a chance to win and jump ourselves into the sixth, and that's sort of about as far as we're looking.
I suppose being cautious not to jump too far ahead this season, but I suppose this is it. This is season defining this week.
Can be. Like I said, anything can happen. We've got to play as hard as we can till the end. We can't sort of get through this weekend and say that's season's over. We've got 3 games to go and we're going to compete hard in all 3 games.
I suppose it could go down to the last round, the last minute, dare I say?
Well, it could do. That's to say anything can happen. I saw Manchester United got beat by Grimsby the other night. I don't think anyone picked that.
Yeah, absolutely.
For it?
No, not at all. quite insulted by that, John. What is it about, I say Aidan this, but what is it about Hull that you think's connected with him this year? Because obviously there's going to be a massive responsibility on Aidan to lead the side, obviously without some big players this week. But what's brought the best out of him this year?
I think responsibility. He's always had in the play sort of making area, he's always had sort of dominant figures around him. It's probably a lot of it has fallen down on his shoulders this year. I think he's enjoyed that. I think, like he is getting towards the end of the career, he won't mind me saying that, and he wants to win something. It's what's driven him. The conversations I've had with him, it's certainly what's driving him to want to keep playing, and he wants to finish his career with some silverware.
Seems to have found a home here. Obviously, he's played in Super League before, but he's gone back to NRL, come back, and dare I say, this has been probably the best he's showed in this comp so far in his career. Yeah,
like I said, I think he's always wanted to be that, that man that controls a team, a genuine number 7 who organises, can play both sides of the field, looks after the kicking game. I think that responsibility that he's been given, that he's taken on, has really sort of advanced his game.
And Liam Watts, if he does play, that's going to be colossal for you as a senior forward. He's probably one of the only ones there now that has been around the block and got a role to play. You spoke, culturally how much impact he's had. So now it's a chance to do it on the pitch as well. Fingers crossed. Yeah,
the time that he's spent on the field for us, he's been really good. He's a big body. He's experienced. He talks well. Fingers crossed that he will be available this week.
Obviously, he'll love going back there as well. His first club was Hull Chaos, so he'll relish a derby occasion. Yeah,
he'll know what to expect from both sides of the fence. Generally over here, I find when players go back to a club that they've been, they generally cop a bit extra stick. So I'm sure he'll be ready for it.
Cheers, John. All the best.
Mate.